You know what makes Kingdom so special? If you look at most other anime and manga and you think about their most iconic moments, it's usually a fight scene or some power-up. Well, in Kingdom, almost all of its iconic moments are dramatic character moments. Moments that are nothing short of powerful emotion. Some moments are completely removed from any action at all and are simply profound storytelling. It's crazy to think that across nearly 1,000 chapters, while Kingdom does not lack in countless iconic battle scenes, they are almost always second to its story moments. And it's insane to think that so many of these dramatic panels and one-liners have become all-time classics to its readers. So let's go through the entire story from start to finish and grab the most iconic moment from each arc to compile the ultimate Kingdom list. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe for new Kingdom videos every week. To begin with, Seikyou's rebellion. The most iconic moment for Seikyou's rebellion would be Shin fearlessly striking down his first real opponent. This is of course an image that is burned into most Kingdom fans' brains, and it's basically the start of Shin's entire journey. But there's actually one moment from Seikyou's rebellion that might be even more iconic than this scene, and it happens in the very first chapter of the story. We all know this saying like the back of our hands: I'm going to be the greatest general under the heavens. There are arguably no words in Kingdom more recognizable than this. I think every Kingdom fan knows this off the top of their head. So while Shin using his signature job attack is extremely memorable for kicking off Shin's story, it's hard to beat Shin and Hyo's proclamation for kicking off the entire story. And so, for Seikyou's rebellion, just scraping by, I give it to Shin and Hyo's iconic proclamation. Next, we have the Keiyou Campaign. This is one of the arcs where Kingdom really starts to take off. The entire Shin and Oki conversation is littered with iconic moments. From General Oki inadvertently interrupting a war and slaying Wei soldiers with ease to ascend the Wei Hill, to Shin being swallowed by Oki's intimidating aura, to Oki introducing to us the two distinct types of generals. But I think the moment it all culminates in, with Oki saying that war at the end of the day ultimately belongs to its generals, was one of the first truly great Kingdom moments, as this was the moment that really highlighted the types of ideals and messaging that Kingdom is all about. The eternal theme of strategy versus instinct, and the important view that a general sees. Now we have the escape from Zhao. This, the Assassination Plot, and Shin's training arc are three of the tougher arcs to name a most iconic moment, simply because Kingdom's storytelling was still too early in its construction, or being that they're too short to produce truly memorable scenes comparable to the other arcs. This one may be a little bit less discussed by readers, but the scene where Sheikah tells Sei that he will definitely become a greater king than anyone else is one of Hara's earliest attempts at a powerful character moment. I think for the Assassination Plot, many readers have a strong attachment to Kyoukai, so I'm going to say the very first time we are introduced to Kyoukai's priestess dance. And for Shin's training arc, we highlight a most humorous moment. Shin gets his answer after asking Oki to train him, and that is getting refused and kicked off a cliff. Hilarious. The Battle of Bayou is easy. Oki's proclamation is a moment that had everyone in tears, coming off the back of one of the first truly tragic events in the story, Hoken questioning Oki on what he is after being able to best what is supposedly humanity's strongest, to which he replies that he is but a great general of the heavens, is probably the first time many readers felt that bittersweet descent into defeat, as a character beloved by all was well and truly defeated but died with no regrets, and inspired this young man who would carry on his will with this one line. Many fans say that anyone trying the series for the first time needs to at least get to Bayou, and it's largely because of this moment, as this scene and this character is where you finally understand that Kingdom's dramatic character writing is actually something special. The Alliance arc is a tough call because it's such a short arc with two scenes that stand out as particularly iconic. One, of course, is Shin's promotion to 300-man commander. The other is his declaration to Roboku that he will surely be the one to defeat him and no one else. I personally would choose Shin's declaration to Roboku as it's my favorite moment of the arc, and definitely is one of Shin's best character moments in the entire series. This is easily the most dramatic way for Shin to set the bar he must overcome to surpass Oki and become the greatest. And the third faction arc is a fairly short and simple one. I think it's the moment where we are introduced to Chin's queen mother, who actually turns out to be Sei's mother, which is like a what moment? Or maybe for most readers, it's the vivid sex scene between said mother and Ryofui, who is actually Sei's main competitor for the throne. Lovely, right? There's not a lot else that happens during this arc, so besides Ryofui's peak, there's not much else that sticks out. In the Sanyou campaign, I think the most iconic moment is one of the final moments of the arc, with Renpa declaring to Shin that it would be impossible for him to become the greatest general under the heavens, let alone someone on his level, because he would only be plagued with what ifs. What if past legends were still alive and in their prime? That is, unless Shin completed a feat so crazy that it would erase all the legendary feats of past. The unification of China. This conversation with Renpa was the perfect way to give true direction to Shin's path, as the Sanyou Campaign was where Shin was bombarded with these real questions to ponder. Now, with the Sanyou Aftermath, this isn't necessarily the most significant moment, but it is still an important one for one of our main characters, the return of Keiyou 10. No longer a child, but instead a woman who has completed the first part of her journey, and has now grown to be a competent strategist, working alongside her childhood friend Shin in the He-Shin unit. Honestly, a pretty cool moment. 10 absolutely dismantles her opponent, which is especially cool after she was doubted by everybody in the unit, even by Shin, and proved them all wrong. The Coalition Invasion, arguably the greatest arc in Kingdom, the most iconic moment from this arc, and one of the all-time classic dialogues in the entire story is Sei's speech at Sai. The fact that he was never seen before by the people and still he was able to rouse ordinary citizens to fight to the death against Reboku of all people to protect their home and history. Nowadays, we think of Kingdom as being filled with powerful proclamations and quotes, but really thinking back, Sei's speech was one of the first most iconic in the entire series. We shall fight to the very end. We shall surely protect the kingdom. Truly, one of Hara's first masterpieces. Kyokai's revenge saves the best for last. In an arc that was all about revenge, there's one image saved for the end of the arc that sums it up better than any dialogue could. And that's the simple shot of Kyoukai shedding hopeful tears with the thought that she will no longer allow herself to be consumed by vengeance for the sake of her sister, but instead she will carry on her dream of truly seeing the outside world by living her life to the full. This single image best sums up Kyokai's dramatic shift in character and what it means to be in the He-Shin unit, to carry on the will of our loved ones who have passed and breed goodwill towards the future. In the conspiracy of the court, while I'm tempted to put Seikyou's heart-wrenching death, the even more iconic moment are the words said by Seikyou to Shin just prior. Here we get another one of Hara's awesome one-liners. As the first villain of the series, Sei's half-brother and former arch-nemesis imparts some grand wisdom, that though yes, Shin serves as Sei's sword, more importantly he is also his shield. This, much like Shin and Hyo's iconic proclamation, has become one of Kingdom's more memorable and meaningful dialogues. Now, with the Fire Dragons of Wei Arc, there are two ways to look at it. On the one hand, you could go by what is probably considered by most to be the most iconic moment. At face value, Ohun actually wholeheartedly proclaiming his desire to become a great general etched into China's history in an almost Shin-esque way should be an instant classic. However, I'm going to throw a curveball and say that the single moment during this arc that is the most iconic is To carrying on Oki's will by betting on the future great generals of Qin with full faith, disregarding his own success and fame to nurture them like Oki would have wanted. The State of Eye arc. The most iconic moment from this storyline is of course when Sei refuted Ryofui's claims regarding human nature, proclaiming that mankind's true nature is that of light. I personally consider this moment to be one of the emotional high points in all of Kingdom. For most readers, this is a S-tier moment signifying the inevitability of Sei's path, that this dream of his is not half-hearted at all, and it is no doubt for the good of the other. After the State of Eye arc, we have the Kokuyou Campaign, which is another easy pick. Kanki's masterpiece. Nothing much to say. This is almost unquestionably the single greatest moment for one of the most beloved characters in the story. This bloody arch of bodies could not describe Kanki any better, and has taken on a legend of its own in the fandom, as arguably the most gruesome but polarizing scene ever shown in the series. What more needs to be said? In the Bureaucrats Job Arc, the most iconic moment is one surrounding politics, but nonetheless epic, with Sei standing firm against Reboku, who shows a great resolve of his own. Considering the beginning of the arc was a peaceful conversation for the establishment of an alliance, the sudden shift to a great general, let alone Qin's greatest enemy, casually requesting an audience with the Qin king and threatening to destroy every single one of Qin's great generals, is a strikingly vivid memory for most readers, and it stands out as the moment that Sei speaks to Reboku for the first time, and simultaneously the first time an enemy enemy general has directly spoken against the Qin King's dream of unification, and at that so passionately. And then the Western Xiao invasion. Oh man. Back to back arcs with iconic scenes. If Kanki's masterpiece is indisputably one of his greatest moments, then Shin slaying Hoken is considered by many readers to be Shin's greatest moment. And it's so easy to understand why. This is the ultimate act of justice, encapsulating perfectly what carrying on another's will represents. To harness this gravity and strength of will to keep moving forward without hesitation. Often referred to as one of the most satisfying kills in all of Kingdom, most importantly, it's more a dramatic character moment than a fight scene. The Zhao Crisis isn't too tough of a call because the standout iconic moment happened to be one that pleased every single Roboku hater out there. Roboku sitting in absolute despair with no sign of hope for many might be the biggest deal in all of Kingdom. The War of Three States might be a tough call, but I do think that this simple moment between Toe and Gahome might be the major highlight. Toe placing forward his absolute belief in Zhao being defeated in the near future, and Gahome's response to this that I've seen popularized the most being that this man never fails to warmly glaze Roboku. Maybe because it's the high point of tension, maybe it was just satisfying seeing Toe back Chin. But I know to this day, many people still vividly remember this glazing masterclass by Gahome. Then in the Shiyuu Conflict, a much shorter arc, it's a heartfelt moment for Kyo-Rei, rivaling that of Kyoukai. Live as strongly as you can. Similar to Kyoukai living life to the full for the sake of her sister, these words by Kiyoshiki were uttered when she was stabbed in her heart by her sister, but still died with a smile on her face. This is the reality of their clan, but once again, this doesn't mean she can't carry on her will and move forward without hesitation. The Battle of Eikyuu might have one of the most iconic moments in the entire series, the return of the 6 great generals of Qin. There are no words to explain how epic this singular moment is in the Kingdom fandom. We've all been waiting for this ever since we met our beloved Oki, and ever since it was teased by Mobu. You already know what it is. This is a clear, distinct turning point for the entire narrative. Soon a 6th great will be born, so obviously it carries so much significance for our future stars Shin, Moten, and Ohon. Xiao's retaliation has only one option, and that's Shin choosing to abandon his post as the right wing for Kanki's army, and moving his Heishin unit to the entirely opposite wing. What a crazy bastard, coupled with the fact that Roboku acknowledged this move by Shin, being as if he was fighting Jukyo, is enough to make any true Kingdom fan shed a tear. Maybe many tears. Okay, maybe cry a river. This definitely moves all readers. The Nature of Humanity arc's most iconic moment is, well, I can't choose one, so I'll mention this one first. Of course, it has to be Shin finally asking Kyoukai to marry him. Oh my goodness. The ship is truly alive, it's real. I could not be happier. Even if she didn't say yes, she didn't say no. It's a yes, but not yet in my eyes. Anyway, onto the second one. This arc's most iconic moment is one word: fire. Honestly, you had to be there. Reading Kingdom week by week, the whole community was discussing and debating what Shin's answer would be to the oh so important question of whether man's true nature was good or evil. And finally, at the climax of Shin's discussion with Kanpishi, we got one long-awaited word surprising all of us: fire. Not good or evil, but man's true nature is fire. Truly iconic and such a Shin thing to say. He delivered. Finally, the Hango Campaign. The most iconic moment from this arc so far is of course Shibisho's first appearance on the battlefield against Qin. Everything from Shibisho being confirmed to enter this war, to him personally leading a deadly pincer attack as his first move and obliterating Osen's killing squad, and of course to the confirmation of Shibisho officially taking up the mantle of the 3rd great heaven of Xiao. This appearance by Shibisho is one that readers will never forget. This is definitely a worthy entrance. So Kingdom, a story of countless unforgettable moments. Almost every arc has something iconic, and some arcs have so many it's hard to choose from. Let me know what picks you would change in the comment section below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out my other videos. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated on my latest videos. I appreciate you guys.